Hey, I'm Cyclon, and today I want to talk about beast farming in 3.25 Settlers of Kalgur. I think beast farming is in a really good state again this league. Now, beast farming, specifically this league, is good in T16s. Because T16 beast farming got heavily buffed. And I think this is good as beast farming was one of the last strategies that was kind of stuck on lower tier maps. Now I think the only last one is still Essences, but that's for a different video. So, what exactly got buffed for beast farming that's now good in T16s? There are two new beasts, or several new beasts added to the core drop. So, we can now find naturally spawning Black Morrigans. They is no longer locked behind a Scarab, and he still does what he usually does, so he's still in demand for that effectiveness of 6-linking, locking magic items, or Hinicaras locking magic items, or level 30 aspects. And he's now findable on T14 plus maps. The same goes for Harvest Beast, which can still be found in their memory, but also in T16 or T14 plus maps. Now, this means that we can find Vivid Vultures and Black Morrigans, two of the most expensive beasts on any map. And if we target farm them, we're gonna find a little more of those. Now, there's also, at least feels like, a significantly more high value beasts in T16s than in T1 to T4s. It doesn't feel like we get more beasts overall, it just feels like we get more of the rare beasts. Now I have not enough proof for this, this is just my theory of running 100 maps this league on T16s and having run several hundred maps of beast farming in T1 to T4s in previous leagues. But I just wanted to give it out for other people to make their own theory about this after they did their own beast farming. Another benefit of a beast farming now being wanting to be done on higher tier maps is heist. We can now on our tree add heist to the map, and on the map device which we used nothing before, we can now optionally use heist as well. Heist on T16 maps, contracts selling for like 5 chaos, at least at the point of making this video. Please do check before you add heist on your map what the contracts and blueprints are worth. And blueprints go for 5 to, I think, 10 chaos for random blueprints. And for fully revealed blueprints, which you're gonna get a few, those can go for like 60, 70 chaos as well. Also, because we're now on T16s, we can take the nodes to have a higher chance of special maps like Guardians and Conquerors, so we can get those as well from our maps. This also means that beast farming in T60 maps has more potential early league under the assumption that you have a build that is actually able to run this. Now, as usual, there are downsides to beast farming, and I want to be very clear about this. Beast farming is only good if you have the beasts of good value in a regular time frame of being findable. Normally it was just Crag Camille with Black Morrigan and Vivid Vultures, which can be worth several divines. This now changes the dialogue a little bit, and we need to check at any point in the league if it's worth farming based on how rare these beasts are to how profitable these are. Beast farming is a very low gold per hour and a very high map consumption per hour. We are running our maps, or intending to run at least, at about 1 minute, preferably less. This means we need a very powerful build, very fast pace, and we need to have a good damage and a decent survivability to clear those beasts in the maps. As they are rare beasts, they have rare beast modifiers and sometimes feel more tanky than pinnacle bosses. So be aware that you need a stronger build for T16 farming, that you're going to consume a lot of maps, and because you're really rushing through those maps, we don't really have a league mechanics that provides us with a lot of gold, meaning we are also not getting that much gold out of these mechanics. The benefit, however, is that what we are selling cannot be sold on the currency exchange, so we don't need gold to sell. We just don't really get gold for supplying our town with this. Now, due to the beast farming in T60 now being viable, this adds scalability to beast farming. We can start beast farming very early with a new build in T1 to T4 maps and just focus on Crikey Camerals, which should still net us about 10 to 15 divines an hour, which is a decent pace, because we are just running very low maps very quickly, self-studying our maps and then getting Crikey Camerals. we're just going to be lead, and once the build is strong enough, we can go up to T16s or T14, starting with those, and then we're slowly working ourselves onto T16s, and then clear T16s. The best map for beast farming is Strand. I will state this here. Out of all the maps I've tested, Strand feels the best map for beast farming because you usually don't need to look at any side angles. You have one straight line, you can rush through it, you see all the beasts, you can identify them quickly because the map is a bit darker. It is at night, or it simulates nighttime, the map. So it's easier to identify the beasts on it in opposed to a Mesa where it's daytime, at least to my experience. And you get the boss at the end in an extra room, so you can quickly kill the boss and you go out. I have the quickest time on Strands, and I have the most efficient times on Strands, so this is why I recommend Strands for this. Now, how to identify the beast? I think this is a very important aspect about beast farming and that everybody should be aware of. Now, you will get better at identifying beasts with more experience. So generally, two rules of thumb is initially, if you're unsure if the beast is what you're looking for, it's likely not the beast. Once you get accustomed to the beast, the rule of thumb changes to if you're unsure if it was the beast you're looking for or not, it likely isn't the beast. Because once you get used to, you will know when you see the beast. But this is only once you get used to. Until then, if you're unsure, just collect it just in case. This also means that roughly every 50 maps you will need to empty your menagerie. Now, to empty the menagerie, there's a neat little trick I learned this league. If you press H, and you go to bestiary, and you have already gathered all the good beasts that you don't want to delete, you can actually control click the release button, and this will result in no dialogue to release a beast. This is a quick release, and you can do this once every second. If you spam this, it isn't going to be as fast. So you want to click and then wait a moment, click and wait a moment so that the actual releasing happening. If you spam click it, you will click the button like 2 or 3 times before the release happens. So you're just wasting energy by spam clicking. But yeah, beast farming now. Now back to the identifying. Sorry. The identifying of beast. We have Phenoplecarynid. It's a big spider with a very big abdomen. It's the biggest spider the game has. We have the Crikey Chimeral. It's a blue, jumpy frog with some gems on its back. When it jumps, it's gonna do a backflip, or at least as far as I remember. There are also other small blue beasts, but that's a Scrabbler. Those aren't jumping. There are also other jumping beasts, but those are goats, so then if they have fur, they're not a frog, and then that means they are not a Crikey Chimeral. Then we have the Black Morrigan, a very big, bulky beast. It has antlers, it is on 2 legs, and it's charging at you. Then we have the Boss Portal Beast. We have a big T-Rex, an orange tiger, an orange spider crab, and a spider with a scorpion stinger. Now, normally we don't need those, but it's nice to collect them if you're looking for data, or if you just want to do this early. Those do have some value. Then we have the Ferric Lynx and the Ferric Wolf Alpha, which one is a lynx and the other is a wolf. The other 4-legged beast is a 2-headed wolf, or is a very big lion wolf, which brews fire. Those are the ones we don't want. If it's just a simple wolf or a simple lynx, those are the twos that we would sometimes want if the value is proper. And then we have the harvest beast. The wild beasts are identifiable by having spikes on their back, purple and spikes. The primal beasts have like bulbs on their bodies, and they are bluish. And the vivid beasts are in a yellow-green, and they have artichokes-like scales on them. So they have like scaled pattern going on their back, and they're always in this artichoke, and it's green oranges. Once you get used to it, they're very easy to identify. Now with those infos out of the way, let's take a look at the passive tree. The passive tree is collecting some map sustain and some quality nodes because we just want a little bit of efficiency. Now, to be fair, most of the maps we will be running wide. We don't need to chisel or elect the maps. It doesn't affect the beast, but if the maps drop rare, or if you bought a big bulk and you got some rare maps, having the map modifier effect is a neat thing to have, but it's the first thing you can drop. The next thing you can have, or you can also drop, is the Scarab nodes. All the Scarab nodes are neat thing to have, and you're gonna get some neat Scarabs on the side, but they're also not needed by any means. Then we have Influence. We can go with Eat or Exile Influence, whatever is better. Because we just want to run Strands, we don't want Maven Influence. So take Eat or Exile Influence, whatever you prefer or whatever is worth more. We're not really looking to get anything from it, but if we get anything that buffs the boss a little bit and we get a few extra chaos, that's a neat thing to have. Then we want, of course, have the Beast nodes, the Einhand nodes, and the Heist nodes. Now, for the Heist nodes, we want most of the nodes that we are already next to, because Beast is very left-sided. We are very close to all the Heist nodes anyway. And Heist can give us the Dutiful Soldier, which makes Hug accompany us in maps. Now, having the benefit of Hug means that he gives a native buff for 1 minute and something, so once you have it, you will have it for the rest of the map, as the map should take less than a minute anyway. And he can also be equipped with any heist gear, and it affects him in maps. So if you give him a weapon that grants an aura like haste, well, now you have haste in your maps, which is a neat additional thing to have, especially if we want to be as fast as possible. We then picking up finer arts to have more deception contracts, and we picking up casting the joint and no honor among thieves to improve our chance of blueprints and fully revealed blueprints. Finally, we are of course taking almost all the beast nodes. There are 2 nodes I'm skipping. There's Mighty Hunter, which I don't really need. I don't need Aina in my map after completion, because I'm not completing the mission most of the time anyway. I'm only killing the beast I'm looking for. And I don't need Aina for the damage, but if you're in a weaker state, this might help you. And we are not picking up Deadly Prey. Deadly Prey is a bad pickup because breaking the beast free means they take more time to capture, which is something we don't want. And then there are the 4 hunt nodes, and it's very important to talk about this. You only ever want 1 hunt node. From what I've seen, from how it feels, if you have more than 1 hunt node, the valuable beasts have an internal rating. So Phantom Plague Arachnids are more common than Crikey Camerals. So if you only want those 2, picking up both Hunt for Kraken and Hunt for Venomous would result in, again, the Phantom Plague Arachnids being more common than Crikey Camerals. If you pick up the Hunt for Kraken, the Crikes become slightly more common compared to Phantom Plague Arachnids. So what we want to do is always make only the most desired beast more common to be appearing. So in the case of current state, where the Vivid Vulture is the most important beast or the most expensive beast, we want to hunt for Sackable because the Vivid Vulture is from the sands. If Black Morrigan is the most expensive beast, we want to hunt for Feral because the Morrigan is from the wilds, and if the Crikey Cameral is the most expensive beast, we want to hunt for Kraken because the Crikey Cameral is from the deep. And then, because we're running T16s, we can pick up Vivid Memories, Remnants of the Past, Conquered Conquerors, and Shadowing Champions to have a chance at getting some Scarabs and boss maps from the final map boss. We want Bestiary Scarabs of the Herd times 2, and we want Bestiary Scarab of Duplicating. We don't need any additional Scarabs, we don't need a 4th or a 5th Scarab, those are enough for us to use. We can add Heist on the map device if Deception contracts are 5 plus Chaos and Blueprints are also still on Desire for like 5 plus Chaos. Adding Heist on the map device should never be a loss. Now, as to my actual profit. Oh well, my estimated profit. With the Crikey Camerals and the Morrigans, I split it that I said the Crikey Camerals and Plague Arachnids are more consistent, and the Black Morrigans and Vivid Vultures are less consistent. They're all decently consistent in 100 maps. I've gotten enough of them that they then felt like pure luck, that they felt like expectable. Now comparing this to T1 to T4 farming, which I also still have on the spreadsheet, we are expecting about 14 divines an hour from Crikey Camels and Phantom Plague Arachnids in T1 to T4 maps. Because we are getting a few more Crikey Camels in T1 to T4s than into T16s, as we are hunting primary Vivid Vultures and Camels are sustainable loot. We are having less profit just from those two in our maps. But once we add the vultures and the morgans, we have way more loot in our maps, or well, way more value in our beast. We can get up to 27.76 divines with an average time of 1 minute a map. Now, if you're really pushing this, getting up to 45 or down to 45-second maps is a possibility, but it's very, very hard in the sense of you need to be extremely focused, you need to be streamlined, you need to identify the beast quickly, and you can't just do the league mechanics like the Settlers of Kalgur league mechanic or Random Blight if you find it, or just take your time with the altars. If you want 45 seconds, you need to be very fast in your maps, and usually the maps that have any beasts I want are the beasts where I'm more tending towards 1 minute on my maps. So having the 27.76 seconds is a bit more realistic. 27.76 divines an hour more realistic than the profit power at a 45-second average map time, because most of the maps will be average 1 minute. But that much for the consistent and inconsistent profit based on my data. If you want to add any data to the spreadsheet, if you want to help make this more realistic, as always, I have it set up in a way so I can add your data to this to help make the numbers more realistic. As the more data we get, the more test runs we have, the more sample sizes we have, the more detailed and the more precise this number will be. But yeah, that much for this. Now, the last question before we going to look at my actual profit is, when should you farm beasts? Now, my old rule, or at least 41.24 still stands, once Crikey Cameral is about a divine, beast farming is good to go. Now, with the addition of Vivid Vultures, Black Morgans, and other valuable beasts over the heist, we can now actually start farming this early once the values check out based on the appearance of the valuable beast compared to the cost of the maps. So once those numbers check out, it's good to farm Black Morgans or Vivid Vultures, depending which one is more valuable. Early League, it's likely Black Morgan, because 6 linking items is a high desire of everyone. Now, for my actual profit, I will liquefy only Crikey Camerals, Vivid Vultures, and Black Morgans, and I will see you in a moment with how much I actually made. And now I got everything sold. So, I gotten 22 Crikey Camerals for 22 divines, 10 Vivid Vultures for 20 divines, and 8 Black Morgans for 8 divines. I think if I could have waited a little more, I could have sold them for maybe 1.2, 1.3. But I think 50 divines for 100 maps, which take me about a minute each, is a pretty good rate. So in about 2 hours, well, technically less than 2 hours because it took me like 100 minutes. That's 1 hour 40 minutes, but let's say 2 hours, that is 25 divines an hour. I think that's a pretty good rate. All this being said, video doesn't need to be longer than it has to be. I'm very happy with beast farming this league. I will see you guys in my next video or live on Twitch. Goodbye.